The start to the 2023-24 season is finally upon us, and let's do a slight little preview.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, number one daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I am your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. We want to thank everyone for making this show your first listen every day. We're free and available everywhere you get your podcast. We got a great show on today's episode because it is opening day for the Arizona Coyotes. Game one of their season against the New Jersey Devils. They're over in New Jersey. The home opener isn't for another week, but we finally get to watch some Coyotes hockey. That's meaningful Coyotes hockey, that is, Matthew, starting tonight. How excited are you?
I'm not. So let's get this tanking season out of the way. This 10-win, 1,000 people in the crowd season. Well, one more of these out of the way.
Wow, tell me how you really feel.
But no, it's actually weird to think that the season is actually upon us because not only, full disclosure, as you are listening to this, I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep, and I have to get at least one Coyotes report done to be caught up for the season and a bunch of ASU stuff. So I was kind of used to the idea of having more time to get caught up for stuff, and it's like, oh, both of them start tomorrow. Okay. No sleep tonight, I guess.
Hey, that's how it's like when you have to work in media. Sometimes you have these endless nights, and it's fun. But hey, we do it. We do it because we love it.
Oh, I just do it because I procrastinate and 6 to 7 days a week, boys. Hockey season, I love it. I love it.
It is officially back. Arizona Coyotes versus New Jersey Devils. Let's get into a bit of the preview of this game, because this is, in a lot of ways, this is the first time we're going to see, again, like we said, meaningful Coyotes hockey. The Logan Cooley is going to make his official NHL debut. There's a lot of different factors going into this. Let me just get your opinion on how you think this game is going to go down. We'll get to keys of the game and picks of the game later, but let me get your thoughts.
I think the Coyotes, unlike last season, are going to have some energy out of the gate, and they're going to need it because New Jersey's a very good team. If you listen to a lot of content creators and people that cover hockey for a living, I'm a little surprised by this, but New Jersey's actually one of the cup favorites this year. Not surprised because they're there's no talent or anything, but because I still see them as a very young team that is at least a couple years away from like that true like cup finals level compete. But that being said, what better year to start than now? And when you have a roster, I'm going to pull this up right here. I have the NHL preview. When you have a roster consisting of players like Mercer, Heischer, Bratt, and some kid Hughes. I hear he's okay.
Which one?
Not the fetus. The Hughes has been around for a little bit. They also
but don't they have isn't there another Jack Hughes too? Like,
it's Luke Hughes.
I know, but there's like, it's funny because there's like multiple Jack Hughes or whatever, and I made the joke about it. But anyways,
and a couple smaller things like 40 goals last year for Meyer. You have a Palat who had an injury riddled down year last year, but still a solid player, especially if he has a bounce back this year. It's going to be a tough team. That's a really solid top nine. From what I can tell, they also have a decent defense. Their goaltending is actually surprisingly dangerous with Vitek Vanacek, a kid that I've been high on for a little while. 33 wins last year, 245 goals against, and a save percentage somewhere in the positives there. This is a solid team. It's a fundamentally solid team. And if the Coyotes want to pretend they're going to be in the playoffs for a little longer than 48 hours, you gotta start off hot, and this is a good opportunity to try. But
they got to come out of the gate swinging, and they got to look good. They got to look good. They really have to. And here's the thing. It's a different team than the previous years, so it's really hard to tell. But I'm gonna make one factor in here, and it's gonna play into the some of the things I'm gonna mention in our segments later in the show. But let's keep in mind the Devils are on a back-to-back. So the Devils are playing their second game in a row. The Coyotes are just getting their first game. That's got to play a factor in how this game might turn out.
It could, depending on who they start in the first game of the back-to-back. So the Coyotes might get technically an easier matchup. You also might have a little bit of the heavy legs, but at the same time, the Coyotes, this is their first game, so
the
you
Devils
also could have a little bit of dragging on their end.
The Devils just last night, or the night that we are recording this, defeated the Detroit Red Wings 3-4.
Who is in goal for them?
Let's take a look. Got to open it up.
Because if Vanacek started, they're going against Schmidt, who in 18 games had a 213 goals against. Not bad in a small sample size.
Yeah, it was Vanacek played against the Red Wings.
So small sample size, but it'll be a backup goaltender they'll likely face. I know some goalies will do the back-to-backs. I know there are some situations where it's appropriate, though for the most part, conventional wisdom, you don't force it if you don't need to. They might take advantage of that, and it'll be a pretty good scoring game. The problem is if Karel Vejmelka starts, we know what Vejmelka is at this point. He's been on the team for a couple of years now. Really good in big games. Really bad against the bad teams, inconsistent on when those big games are coming. So it could be a 50 save effort, tonight, or it could be he gets 22 saves and gives up 5 goals. So let's say 5-4 finish. I don't know. I don't know which way I feel it's going to go. We're going to
get to that. We'll get that later. We'll get to that later. But in fact, you know what? Let's continue this episode. We'll get to that in just a sec. We'll get to our keys to the game coming up in just a moment. But first, we are going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors on today's show.
And today's episode is brought to you by Jace Medical. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace Case. The Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure that you have the medication in hand. Jace Medical is simple. They handle everything from online evaluations to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultations and care. Don't get caught unprepared. Get $20 off the life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical using my code LOCKEDON at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com.
Let's continue this episode of Locked On Coyotes as we preview the first game of the season for the Arizona Coyotes. Coyotes versus Devils coming tonight at 4 p.m. local time right here in Arizona. If you're listening in Arizona, it's 7 p.m. over on the East Coast. First game, we're going to be able to watch the game on channel 15.2 over the air. So if you got your antennas, good for you. You're ready to watch the game tonight. But let's get to the keys to the game. Matthew, what would you say are Arizona's 3 keys, and let's break it down individually. 3 keys to try to defeat New Jersey tonight.
Aggressive attack. I mean, if they're going to get to go against the backup goaltender, you want to be aggressive. You want to get plenty of pucks to the net, get bodies in front to screen it, get a stick on it to tip, because you want a goal early to at least give yourself a little bit of an edge in that context, and then keep battling, because New Jersey's a good team offensively, so you want to be able to try to outscore them and keep pace with them.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I feel like that is definitely one an important bit, especially because look, as you mentioned earlier, New Jersey is a good team,
Mhm.
and Arizona is still technically a rebuilding team, so that you have to you know. But as we mentioned, this Arizona Coyotes team is supposed to be a competitive one, so make it look like and convince everyone straight from the start of the season that you are here to compete.
Yeah, lose 5-4, not 5-2. Like, make all these games close. I'm not going to
Mhm.
complain if they lose, by a goal, by 2 goals with an empty net. Like, stay competitive, keep yourself in the game. Definitely, definitely hope that Familka has one of his on games because, like, we talk about consistency a lot on this show. Nothing against, Familka himself, but that's just the reality of what we're dealing with here. So we need Familka to be on point if they're gonna pull away with the victory because which Familka are you getting?
True, because we definitely had those 50, 60 save game Vejmelka versus a 700 save percentage Vejmelka. Like we've seen both different sides, and the thing that does kind of scare me is that beginning of the season tends to lean more towards the latter than the former. Usually don't get mid-season. Mid-season Vejmelka, he's got some better looks. Beginning season Vejmelka, he tends to struggle.
Mhm.
He's got to hopefully have that figured out. Maybe hopefully he already looks like he's in mid-season form come game one.
We'll have to hope, because then again, both the last 2 years they've been pretty deep in a rebuild, and it took them a while to get going. I think they got blown out both by Columbus 2 years ago, and then I think it was Pittsburgh last season, if my memory serves. I think it was like 5-2 finish or something. Uh, what you want to be able to do is have that energy to start because, yeah, they're still rebuilding, but they're trying to come out of the rebuild maybe a little prematurely. Just high energy. That's it. Come out with the high energy. That's got to be like key one
Key one.
and three.
Yeah. So key one, definitely high energy. Key two.
Oh yeah, key two was
Yeah.
keep pace, aggressive attack, so that way you could actually have a high scoring game and not get blown out. And then key three was Melka. He's got to be on. You got if you're gonna walk away with the victory here, there are too many like 30 plus goal scorers on this team. I don't want the first three of the season happening in game
Mhm.
one.
Absolutely. I'll add something for myself too.
Mhm.
A major thing. It's something that was a problem last year. I mean, at the beginning of the year, it looked promising, and then it tapered off.
Mhm.
Those that have been listening over the course of the last several seasons know exactly what I'm talking about. Special teams. That's a really important bit. And that's gonna be a key all season long for me. To be honest, special teams is gonna be really, really crucial. It's like how efficient is this power play going to be? Because I feel that is going to judge a lot of how aggressive this offense can be.
I mean the special teams, the penalty kill looked pretty good against that minor league team in Tucson. So I mean, if we can get some similar vibes to like when Grabs was still on the team, that would be a pretty solid penalty kill. And they have more than enough individual pieces for that power play. I mean, if Jonathan Dursey gets some opportunities to shoot from the point, I'm going to be a very happy camper. If Dumbo, which he's been skating pretty well, can get a couple good shots and get in a rhythm, that's a solid piece. Yanis Moser, I already know the surprising amount of depth scoring he can provide. And then, oh yeah, Cooley, Keller, Schmaltzy, Matthias Bocelli, Krauser. You could probably throw Carconi in there every now and again. Zucker didn't even remember to bring 27 goals or whatever it was last year. Yeah, you could probably have 3 power play units. They're not gonna. They have enough pieces to actually run 3 power play units.
Hopefully, we can see if they execute it all correctly, because we've seen it where it looks good for stretches, but it's kind of falls off. So that's a little bonus key. I just kind of thought I had to mention just because the last several years it just has been, mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any maybe like any bonus key that you think you should
Don't embarrass us to open the season on the road. Like let's be a little blunt. Just let's have a little fun with it. Be a little blunt. Don't embarrass us because I remember I had to stay late taking parts to like this like really stupid far location. I was listening to that Columbus game. I turned it off while driving because they were getting blown out so bad. And then the Pittsburgh game I forget, but like just don't get blown out in the first game. That's all I ask. I just want a nice, clean, competitive 2-goal loss.
There you go. Well, we're gonna continue this episode in just a sec. We're gonna get to our my favorite segment, the FanDuel picks of the game. We're gonna get to the betting lines and everything. We'll get to that on the other side. But first, a quick word from our sponsors on today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. NHL season is finally here. Coyotes have the season we've been yearning for. I absolutely love the NHL, and I know that you guys do too. And that's why I want to tell you about the Sleeper app. Sleeper is the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network, and it's my go-to for fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash on daily fantasy. The NHL has never been more exciting now, with studs like Logan Cooley coming to the Arizona Coyotes. Just pick more or less on stats, and these stars on their stats like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more. And you heard me, Coyotes fans, once again, 100 times payouts on Sleeper, so you can start paying attention and get your picks right, and you could win big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you can get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Once again, that's LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper terms of use for details. All right, Matthew, let's continue. Once again, my favorite segment of the show, FanDuel picks of the game. Let's, because it kind of helps us gear in towards our predictions of how this game is going to go. These are the lines. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right in front of you now. Betting lines brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On Coyotes. Coyotes are underdogs at plus 215 on the money line. Devils at minus 265. Total points are at 6.5. Starting up a pretty decent point total right there. Matthew, what do you got on today's picks?
I take the over. The over is what, 6.5 goals?
Yeah.
I literally said earlier, don't get blown out 5-2. Go for like a 5-4 finish. That's easy. I'm gonna go with the over points because I think it'll be a higher scoring game because the Coyotes actually have that offensive talent. It's there. The talent is there. Let's see how it fits together in an actual regular season setting against a tough opponent. This is not a middle to pack opponent. It's a tough New Jersey opponent. I want to see how the pieces fit together. And I think, you know what? Higher scoring game.
I feel like I'm trying to think. I feel like over seems to be fair, especially based off what we're saying. If the Devils are as good as a good team as they are, and we want the Coyotes to come out swinging, and look good in game one. High scoring
gives up a lot of goals against good teams.
Yeah, a high scoring game only makes sense. However, I'm still gonna go with the over. I feel like it's easy for this game to go over. I probably won't go as high scoring as you. I'm gonna go all the over on this one. I'm gonna even add a little bit extra thing. It didn't show up on our full screen, but the Coyotes are also 1.5 underdogs. If I'm gonna have to take a secondary bet on this game, I am going to bet the Coyotes on the spread. So I feel like given the points, because I do feel like something like you were saying, this game would be close. It would be high scoring but close. I'm gonna make it like a 4-3 game, which is just over the total points on the betting lines. which kind of makes sense. And then I think it's not going to surprise anyone. The win is going to end up going to New Jersey on this one. I think New Jersey is just too good of a team. Just 'cause I feel like it's just, the Coyotes are still rebuilding, but they're looking more competitive.
Watch him win the cup this year. Anyway, is there a bet on how many shots Vamilka's gonna face? Because here's the thing. I didn't mention it in the keys. This defense had the ability to upgrade quite a bit to the point where the only question mark I have is Jersey's defensive ability. Everything else has been solidified on paper, and they looked pretty good in the little bits I got to watch them in preseason. Maybe, just maybe, you get less high percentage chances against Vamilka. Maybe he won't have to be as good in order to stay in the game.
They do have a lot of different prop betting. Once again, FanDuel has anytime goal scorer, who's the first goal scorer, is there a player to score 2+ goals?
I say anytime. Let's just throw Nick Schmaltz in there. I feel like Keller and Schmaltzy always have to link up pretty early. And if you're doing anytime score, that should be okay payout, right?
Plus 260?
No, that's not bad. It's not bad.
I'd be willing to take it. I'm gonna parlay all our picks. I'm gonna see.
You're gonna parlay all the picks.
If I go Coyotes plus 1.5, Nick Schmaltz anytime goal scorer over 6.5, the 701 line right there.
So bet $100. You know what? Bet your mortgage tomorrow.
Bet my rent. Bet my rent. No,
I'll bet my gas money. I'll get stranded.
Absolutely not. But those are the picks. Those once again, we only use these picks as not necessarily advice, but just as how we would do it if we're betting.
It's fun. It's fun.
We do it for fun. Do not take this as none of the picks that we're going to that we are saying, we're not going to consider any picks locks, because we do not want you guys to get upset if you guys lose money. If you decide to listen to our quote advice on what our picks are.
It's not advice. Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot.
No. But once again, I will also add this once again, another time too, that if you decide to make these sports bets, please gamble responsibly. If you're just planning on gambling at all this season, sports gambling at all, and maybe using any of our picks, once again, please gamble responsibly.
Only bet the $20 you're willing to lose. Don't bet the $20 you're going to put in your gas tank, or the $20 you're feeding your kids with, or something. That's simple stuff. Come on, boys.
Anyways, you had your final score. Might as well say it one more time.
5-4.
5-4. New Jersey Devils, right?
Yeah, 5-4 Devils. No overtime. No bonus hockey.
And you have and you said Nick Schmaltz as an anytime goal scorer.
Yep.
I like it.
Do you want to try to guess who's going to score the first goal of the entire game? Either team?
Ooh, the first goal of the game.
Let's go Dawson Mercer.
Dawson Mercer.
Because he's the one that would have been the Coyotes pick, right? The one that they traded away in the Hall trade?
Maybe.
So I mean, it's Arizona luck. I think it's a safe bet.
Trying to see if Dawson Mercer at plus 1,600 for first goal scorer. I love that.
I'll bet $1 on that. I would bet. I'm not going to. I would bet $1 on it, but I'm not gonna.
What about Logan Cooley at plus 2,700?
I feel like Cooley is going to get assists for his first handful of games. I mean, even Connor Bustard had an assist in his first game and a goal in his second. So, Logan Cooley, since he's so much worse than Connor Bedard, will get an assist in his first 3 games.
No, he's not so much worse. Logan Cooley is superior.
The greatest, the best prospect in the world. He'll get a hat trick. Just watch.
Oh my God, how exciting that would be.
I would freak out. I would freak out. Hopefully I can watch the game. I'm gonna be working the ASU game tomorrow night, but I think Tubi. I think I could watch it on that because it gets me local channels. I'll have to see.
Or just bring a monitor and plug your antenna in.
Just you know what? On the way in, when I'm paying off my Sonic Superstars pre-order, I will head over to Walmart, buy a little crappy TV, bring that with me, and put it in the shop, and I'll bring my antenna with me.
There you go. Now you're thinking correctly.
There we go. Modern technology on a cell phone with the Wi-Fi password that I can just walk upstairs and look at. Nah, don't do that. Just go buy a TV with the antenna. Do I have an extra TV lying around? I had an extra monitor. Anyway.
You're like, do I? Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe? I don't know. I'll upgrade stuff and then like I'll throw the old thing in like the living room or like in a closet and forget about it for like 6 months. So it's possible unless I got rid of that monitor.
That's 100% possible. I would do the same thing. So anyways, any final thoughts before we close things off on today's episode?
How many days until the Salt Lake City announcement?
172.
Let's go with 69. And my answer next week will also be 69. I am so mature. Everyone is so happy with me being on the show.
Anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you've yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube and on the Sirius XM radio app. For your next listens, I'm going to say more than one listen, but your next listens, be sure to check out Locked On Diamondbacks as they advance to the National League Championship Series after beating the Dodgers earlier this week in a sweep.
I can't believe that.
I know, right?
Mad lads.
And also, be sure to also take a listen to our enemy podcast, Locked On Devils.
Boo.
They
Boo
will
tomatoes.
give you the Trey Matthews. He's also a ASU student. Will give you the perspective from the other side.
Boo Devils. I like Trey. He was very nice at the ASU women's game the other week. Cool guy. Boo Devils. Like forks up, go Devils, but like these Devils, boo Devil. Is it not funny? He's a Devils fan. He's going to ASU. Anyway, I'm done interrupting. I just thought that was funny.
But yeah, so be sure to make those listens after listening to this. Once again, Locked On Diamondbacks and Locked On Devils. Anyways, don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, on X at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano. Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.